Hello and welcome to the Upstate training video. We'll go over all the different parts of the Upstate North Carolina platform here and get you up and running so that you could use the site most effectively. I'm going to start off with an intro here to the dashboard when you first log in and just give you a quick site overview as the first section. So when you first log in, you'll get the dashboard here, and on the left-hand side is the legislative calendar here with the different meetings coming up. You'll notice that there are bills attached to some meetings, and you can, anywhere where you see a track bill button, if you click that, that'll add it to your My Bills section, and you will be following and tracking that bill. In the middle here is the bill action feed. This is kind of like the stock ticker or the social media feed for legislation in North Carolina. So you'll see the most recent filed bill was 24 hours ago. And you can scroll down and see in chronological order which bills have been filed most recently. Once you're following bills, you can click on My Bills here, and that will just show you the most recent actions to bills that you are specifically following. So you'll scroll down here and you can see all the different most recent actions to bills that I'm tracking. If you click on all actions here, this will just show you the most recent action to any bill that has happened in the General Assembly. So again, we scrape all the legislative data every 10 minutes. So you'll get the most up-to-date feed of anything that's happened to any bill here under all actions. You can also filter by date. So let's say that I want to go Monday the 6th here through the 7th. If I just want to see what happened on the 6th and the 7th in terms of legislation, I can filter that. And it'll just show me all actions, filed bills, and my bills, what happened in that date range. On the right-hand side here is the custom alerts. And we'll go into this in a different section, but here's where all of your custom alerts will appear when your words and phrases have shown up in legislation. At the top here are the different sections of the platform. The search bar here is where you could search for legislation. And then also important to note, if you go to the Your Account section here, that will lead us to where you can change and edit details of your account. It'll show you if you're attached to an organization, it'll show you that. It'll show you what plan you're on, your subscription, show you your name, your email, and your contact number that you entered when you created your account. If you want to get your alerts to a different account, to a different email and or text phone number, you could enter those in as well. So if you want to have an alerts email or a different phone number, you can do that. You can also enable your text here, enable your daily emails for alerts. So a daily email is an email that goes out at 5 p.m. each day, which is a daily digest of all of your alerts. And then the real-time emails are the alerts that we send every 10 minutes to when your words and custom alerts show up in legislation or your bills have actions on them. You can upload an image if you want for your organization. You can change your password as well. And that's the basics of the account. Okay, the next topic to get into is alerting. And there's a couple different types of alerts. The first one to be aware of is our custom alerts. Now, Upstate, we scrape all legislative data every 10 minutes from the ncleg.gov website. So we're able to send you alerts within 10 minutes of it happening and being recorded on the government website. So custom alerts are when your keywords, phrases, and statutes show up in a new bill, newly filed bill, or in a new version of a bill where your words did not appear before. So a bill was amended or there was a committee substitute that was adopted, you will get an alert that your words, phrases, or statutes have shown up in the new version of the bill or in a new bill. And then you could decide, yes, I do want to follow this bill. Let me read it. Let me find out if this is something that I actually do care about, and then track it and follow it. There's two ways to do custom alerts here. The first is with quotation marks. So example, if we wanted to do income tax, we'll put that in quotation marks. You create an alert here. And if a bill is in and if a alert is in quotation marks, that is an exact search. So whenever income and tax show up right next to each other in a bill or a new version of a bill, you'll get an alert over email or text within 10 minutes of that happening. If you did it without quotation marks, income tax here, whenever the words income and tax show up somewhere in a bill together, they don't have to be right next to each other, then you would get an alert over email or text with that. So both of them are helpful in different situations. Sometimes if you have a specific phrase that you need to scan for, you can put that in quotation marks. If you kind of have general themes where you know that you care about taxes and you care about things related to income, then you may do the non-specific quote. So you can enter as many terms as you want. You can enter different codes as well here, statutes, and over time you'll learn to, you may delete some over time because they're redundant. You may add some, and you'll kind of figure out what's right for you in terms of the different alerts that you receive over email or text. Now, a different type of alert is if you go to the My Bills section, the bills that you're already tracking are the alerts on the right-hand side here, and these are bill-specific alerts. So you can choose to get an email or a text for every action that happens to your bills once you're tracking them. So for example, if we click on the arrow here, we can see all the different bill actions that have happened to this bill. And if you had your alerts checked here, you would get an alert for all these different actions that have happened to the bill. You would be notified within 10 minutes of each action happening. We also have session alerts here. When the sessions are scheduled to start, you will get an alert within, I believe, 10 minutes before they're supposed to start. You can choose those. And then when your bill is placed on the calendar, there's not a lot that I'm following right now on the calendar, but those will appear right here and you'll get an alert for that as well. So let's look at what the alerts look like really quickly. Here is just a quick folder I created in my inbox. You'll see these custom alerts that nonprofit was found in edition 1, so this bill was just filed. So you can go and read this bill and see, is this something that you want to follow? You can go to the bill page and choose to track it or not. A bill alert is this action was reported favorably by committee. This action just happened to this H912. So this is a bill-specific alert. We also have our daily email roundup of alerts, and this is what you choose in your options page. So if you want, so this will send every day at 5 or 6 p.m. And this will show you all of the new bill alerts that you have, and then also your custom alerts that have happened throughout that day. And it's over the previous 24 hours. So if there's a session that happens at night, the night before, that will be included in this as well. And then there's a session alert emails here as well. The Senate session's convening at 9:30 there. And these are what the email alerts look like. Let's take a look at the text alerts really quick. So here's an example of our text alerts from Upstate Alerts here. You can save that name in your phone if you'd like. We have the Senate and House session alerts. We have real estate found as a custom alert in a new bill, and then we have building codes here found as a custom alert. You can click on it and actually go to the bill page. You can click track bill to follow it. You can do all the different things here that you can on your computer. Bill versions, put tags on it, look at the action history, take notes on it. You can do that all straight from the mobile website. So we'll move on to finding and tracking bills. So with the alerts, those will show you, the custom alerts will show you which bills that you want to look at to see if you do want to follow them or not, because your terms are in there. When you first set up an account, you'll want to use the search bar to find other bills that you know that you want to track as well. So the search bar automatically uses the quotation mark search, the exact search. So if, for example, if I type in insurance, search, this will bring up every bill that has the word insurance in it. So you'll see there's a lot of bills here. And this covers both the previous session, 2021 to 2022, and the current session. And the order that these bills come up in is the ones with the most recent action. So if we go to the first page here, you'll see on 5/8, 24. If you go to the last page, this is where you'll see bills from last session, last biennium. So you can go through here and see if there are bills that you want to track that have insurance in it. You can click track bill on any of those. And you'll notice that it searches the keywords and the bill text as well. So this searches the full bill text, it searches the assigned keywords, and then it also searches the bill title. So those are the three main areas that it searches: text, keywords, and title. Now let's say that I wanted to type in, let's get more specific. Um, Medical insurance, let's type in that. So there's only two bills where the exact term medical and insurance show up right next to each other, one from previous biennium, one from this biennium. So you'll have to play around and really find the specific terms that are used in the legislation that you care about. We'll just type in Medicare, and you'll see the results here. So again, you should be using this to find all the different bills that you know that you want to track once you've created your account. And feel free to play around with that search bar as you look to add bills to your My Bills section. The My Bills section, this is of all the bills that you're currently tracking. One thing to note is that the page defaults to 9 bills showing at a time, but you can go up to 50 if you want to be able to see more bills at once. So if you go to the bottom and hit how many bills per page, you can increase it to 50 here, and the screen will reload here in a second to show many more bills on the screen. So you can do that. A couple things to note on the bill page here. You have your alerts here. The calendar is here when your bill's on the calendar. You can take notes on any bill that you would like. So you can click here and you can, type notes here. You can use different formatting here for the notes as well. You can add tags here, which I'll go over in a minute. You can put your position on the bill, support, monitor, oppose, and those are all internal, of course. You can expand the bill to see all the different last actions. You can see all the bill sponsors as well. And a couple things to note here. So if you want to unfollow a bill, you can click the trash can here, and that will unfollow it. Now, one thing to note on the organization of your bills is that tagging system here. So one thing that you want to do is create the universe of tags that you want to be able to apply to each bill. Now think of tags like folders. These you can categorize your bills in any way that you want to. Everyone organizes themselves differently. All organizations organize differently. So you can create tags for issue area, for jurisdiction, for specific legislators, for priority, for partners that you work with. Any way that you want to categorize a bill, any folder that you would want to create, you can do that here. So you can create unlimited tags. So for example, we'll create a tag, we'll just call it new tag high priority. Why not? So then you'll go back to your bill page here, and one thing that you'll want to remember to do is as soon as you follow a new bill, you should be adding your tags to that right away so that you don't forget to do it later. Adding tags is very important. So for example, we'll go to this bill here, and all you have to do is click on where it says tags, and that'll bring up where you add the tags. So for example, if you want to add, if you start typing, it'll just bring up all the tags that have that letter in it. So we'll just add public safety, we'll add tuition, and why not we'll add voting rights to this tag here. We'll save that. And then the tags will be attached to the bill. So you can, again, click here to see all the different tags that are already on the bill. And then as I mentioned, for the sorting and filtering, your tags will appear here. And you can filter by whatever tags you want in combination with any of these other filters as well, by position, all of that. One more thing to note on the My Bills page is the Search My Bills. So this will search within the bill text and title of all the bills that you're following. So where the search in the top right here, that searches all the bills in the NC legislature, this will just search within the bills you're following. So if we wanted to type in, we'll type in insurance here within My Bills. We hit enter. And this will search the text and title and keywords of all the bills that you're following for the words insurance, and it will filter by that. So we have 22 bills that I'm following that have the word insurance in them. So for example, you wanted to add tags more efficiently by just searching for the bills that you're following that have the word insurance in them, and then go through and add those tags to them. You could do that. A lot of ways you could play around and organize your bills more effectively. So next we'll go to the actual bill page. So if you click on the bill title here, that will actually open up the bill page. And a couple things to note. When you see the green check mark, that means that the bill has passed crossover. There will be an X, a red X if it hasn't. There will not be anything if we are before crossover has happened early in the session. You'll see this little graphic here, which is kind of a visualization of how the bill has moved. This bill obviously vetoed twice and then was overridden and became law. You can do all the same things on the bill page over here that you can on the My Bills page. So you can choose your alerts here. You can add your tags here. You can write notes on the bill here. And to note, there's a lot of interesting drop downs here on the left-hand side. So for external links, you can see the bill directly on the NC legislation website here. We link to the UNC Bill Digest, which is helpful for kind of bill summaries and explaining what the bill does. And then we link to the actual text of the bill summaries that the NC legislation puts out as well. Now, the bill versions page, this is where you can compare new versions of bills to current versions, or really any version to another. So let's say that edition 3 just came out of this bill, and we want to compare edition 2 to edition 3. We can click compare here, and this will bring up a PDF comparison of both of these bills. So this is a plugin that we use, and anything in red in the previous version of the bill has been taken out, and then anything in green in the current version of the bill has been added or is new. So you can scroll down here and see that this language was taken out. See that this green language is new. And then sometimes you'll see chunks of blue language, and that means that it was taken and put in a different place on the bill. So it was kind of like cut and pasted in a different location of the bill. See, this is all new here. So this is really helpful when new versions of bills or the budget comes out. It can get you to see, you won't have to keep rereading the bill each time. If you go to File and then hit Save, you can download either side, the original or the new, and it will save the color highlighting as well. Or you could put it into one document. It'll have all the markups to show you what's changed and what hasn't. So again, on the bill versions here, you can compare any version to any other version. from the original to the one that became law. You could play around with this, and very helpful and a time saver. If the bill is put on the calendar, that will be shown right here. You can see the bill sponsors here. You can see the bill action history here as well. You can look at the vote history of the bill. You can look at the keywords that are assigned by the NCGA here. There are statutes mentioned on the bill. You can look at those here. And finally, if any counties are listed, those will show up here as well. And we do reproduce the text here. We recommend that you use the text, though, from the bill versions and click on the actual bill here to read the actual NCGA version of the bill, that text, as that's the official one. And we do reproduce it here, but I think the format on the PDF here is more helpful. So now we'll look at the Upstate Advocacy Center. So this is not a full-scale CRM advocacy tool. This is a way to spin up very quick, easy-to-use advocacy campaigns to get your constituents, supporters to write in to legislators about different bills. So for example, we'll just look at this one here. It basically creates a landing page, and you can enter in all the information about this specific bill. You can enter a picture as well, and then your constituents can write their name and email down here, and they can hit submit comment. They can choose a legislator as well. If they don't know who their legislator is, they can look them up with your address, or and it'll show you who their legislator is. And then once they write their comment and hit submit comment, it goes back here, and it actually, you get the say on which comments are actually sent. So it doesn't send the email right away. But if, for example, you wanted to build up, many comments over a couple-week period of running the campaign and then send them all at a strategic time, you could do that. Go in and click send comment to legislator, and then that's when the email would actually be released. And again, you get to look at all the comments all the emails that people write. You can export them to a CSV, and you'll be able to see the actual comments and the names and the email addresses of everyone who writes in, and save those to your database as well for future information. So when you create them, you write the title, you can write your subtitle, you can write the body of your action. One thing you'll need to do is select the committee or commission or chamber that you want to tag this to. So for example, if you selected the House Health Committee, then the legislators that would be populated to be able to be written to are all in the House Healthcare Committee. You would then select the bill that you want to advocate for or against. You could choose an image for it. You could also write your suggested email language as well. So if you wanted language to populate and inform your constituents of what they should say, you could write the subject and the email here. And then when you publish it, it becomes the landing page like I showed before here. You could then send this out through basically the URL link. You could send it out through your email list or your social media or however you engage with your constituents. And then they would go here and write their emails, and you would be able to get all that data on the back end here. Another part of the Advocacy Center is you can also publish the bills that you're following and your stances and any notes that you have on them to your website if you have an advocacy page. Now, we generally recommend creating a different account, an advocacy account, so that when you take notes on it, you can write. It doesn't just show your internal notes; it would show your external messaging that you want to show. So feel free to get in contact with us. We can help you set up that advocacy page, and this would show directly on your website to speak to your constituents as to which bills you're following and what's your stance on them and what's your view on them. So this is a very easy plugin that your webmaster can do, and we're happy to help you with that. Now we'll move on to our committee and chamber transcript and recording archive. So this is completely unique. We created this custom at the beginning of 2023, and this contains all of the chamber and committee meeting transcripts that have happened since the beginning of 2023. So there's over 800 meetings in here, and you can search by the location of the meeting or the title of the meeting. You could also search by date. So if we wanted to look at meetings that happened in, we'll just say the first week of May last year, we could search for those and we'll see all these meetings here. If we wanted to search for the title, so let's type in finance, and we'll see the different meetings that are either in the finance committee room or that have finance in the title. So for example, let's look at from May 7th here, finance committee room. We'll click and see this finance committee meeting here. And there's a couple things to note. You can scroll down and see the transcript. You can export the full transcript to a PDF here for you to pass along and use how you wish. You can also search through the transcript for words or phrases to listen to that specific part of the conversation. So let's type in, we'll try tax. No, let's type in, you can look at different senator mentions as well. So Amy Gailey here, Senator Newton. You can scroll through and it'll show you whenever your words are mentioned. Sometimes you could type in like bill if they're gonna say specific bill numbers that you want to listen to that section. You can search for different jurisdictions or towns. I'll type in Mecklenburg here. And then, for example, wherever you click on the text, that's where the audio starts playing here. So, for example, we'll click here.
Senator Britt, is the removal of the 10-day period for the secure custody orders. So the concern, sure, Senator Britt, and I would love to have full faith in my.
I also agree we should have competent attorneys.
Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate having competent attorneys that can.
I would love
read the law, follow the law, and.
So you can listen to the specific section of the conversation that you would like to. You can also download the full file if that's helpful. Oftentimes these are 2 hour long meetings, and it is much more useful to actually scroll through here, search for words, and then find the snippets and recordings of the section that are most relevant to you. Now we get all the audio directly from the live streams of the North Carolina General Assembly audio page. And so whenever these go live, whenever they turn on the overhead mics at the General Assembly, we start recording them, and then we translate them through an AI program. And so it really does depend on how they operate their overhead mics down at the General Assembly. There are times where they have meetings back to back in a room and they don't turn off the mics to signify a different meeting. So sometimes we may have to go back and splice a meeting and separate them into two. Sometimes they don't turn off the mics at all over the entire weekend, and that throws a wrench in things. But this is the page that we get the information from. So that is to say, if there ever is a meeting that doesn't appear here, which does happen from time to time, there's a meeting you're expecting to see or it isn't working, let us know, send us an email, and we'll be able to go and get that meeting for you. You could just send it to support@keepupstate.com. We get the majority of meetings here correctly, but from time to time, due to their technology, it doesn't always automatically capture the meeting. The last piece to go over is our legislator intelligence platform. So you can go and choose either the House or the Senate, and you can click on any legislator to find a bit more about how they work. So for example, we'll click on Marsha Mori here. We have all the biographical information that they have on the legislation website. And then there's a couple more tabs here. The first one is their voting history. So you can see all the times that they voted yes, no, excuse absence, not voting, all that. So if you wanted to look at all of her yes votes, you could do that. You can see the result, if it passed or not. You could filter by votes that pass or that fail. You can also filter by the current session or the previous session as well. If you go to the introduced bills here, this is really trying to get at um, partisanship and the bills that they write. You can choose if you want to look at the primary sponsorship, meaning they've written the bills, or non-primary, meaning they've more or less signed on to the bill. So we'll go to primary here and filter by that. We'll go to the current session here. And then what you can do is basically see how many Democratic or Republican primary sponsors are also on the bills that she's introduced. So you'll see kind of which ones may be more bipartisan, which ones have the most or the least co-sponsors from either side. So you'll see this bill here, H9, didn't have any Republican sponsors or co-sponsors. So it's just, this is all information that helps you better understand how different legislators and could give you an insight into how they work and who they work with. And on the last page here, I think this is the most interesting page. This will show you kind of legislator pairs who works together the most on both sides of the aisle. So for Marsha Mori, if we wanted to see when she was a primary sponsor, I want to see who were the other primary sponsors she worked with the most. So she wrote 20 bills here with Pricey Harrison, and you can click and you can see those bills. It'll open up in a new tab. You could also see on the other side of the aisle. So if you wanted to see which bills did she write with Republicans when they were both primary sponsors, you could see that her and Phil Shepard wrote 3 bills together, and you can see what those bills are here. And then you could also filter by, non-primary, which Republicans have signed on to her bills the most. So it's kind of an interesting insight. These are not things that you could find on the NCGA website at all. These are all kind of complete insights on top of the information that they have there. And it's really meant to give you kind of an insight into who's working with who could be the most influenceable and on what issues, and who may be able to influence a legislator that you didn't think before, but now you see that they actually did work together on other bills. So it may be a way to show you which legislators are more influenceable from what other legislators, and also on what specific issues. And again, we have all the senators here as well.